me. So everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me.
Sues landlords for retaliating against Tenant Union. At the Vina Apartments in Northeast Denver, doors don't lock and trash chutes aren't cleaned, according to tenants. After forming a union, they were threatened with eviction. Jessica Owens Nicholson is now serving as the class representative for a lawsuit filed in Denver District Court, alleging the lease that Vina tenants were required to sign is illegal because it bans union organizing, a protected activity for tenants under Denver law. Quickly, let's move on to the next one here. These Elyria Swansea residents are suing their landlord, alleging retaliation for their tenants' union. Elyria Swansea's Vina Apartments opened to applause in 2022, but a year later, tenants unionized. Residents of Elyria Swansea's Vina apartment building are suing their landlord, alleging Columbia Ventures, LLC, retaliated after tenants attempted to organize for improvements in the affordable housing building. Columbia opened up the 150-unit building in 2022 at 48th Avenue and Gaylord Street. About half the apartments were subsidized for tenants who make between 30 and 50% of the area median income. Commentary. All right, we need a quick timeout here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at the same time early in this article. To start, we need to have a quick discussion about subsidized housing and what those words actually mean. Most of the time when the media or our politicians talk about subsidized housing, they use the word affordable. Affordable housing. When you hear it in the news or from local politicians, it means government subsidized housing. Affordable housing comes in two parts. The first part is the developer gets subsidized. That means they get money or tax credits with federal dollars in order to build the units in the first place. Secondly, once these units are built, there are income restrictions on who can actually live in those units. The idea preventing rich folks from just renting up all the cheaper ones and then re-renting them at a higher rate to somebody else later just because they could get there quicker. Secondly, there are income restrictions on who can actually rent these units. That way you don't have some rich dude coming in and picking up a whole bunch of cheap rentals and then subletting them out at higher prices. The units are meant for poor folks, and thus the income restrictions are meant to reserve them for the folks that need them the most. We'll get back to the term affordable in a minute. Before we do that, we need to talk about the next term, area median income, or AMI. Area median income is what they use to calculate the various income restrictions for affordable units. So for example, in Denver, the area median income is about $80,000 a year. So at 80% AMI, anyone making more than $64,000 a year wouldn't qualify. You notice there's no discussion or restrictions about how much can be charged for rent?
Fun! You call that fun?
The units listed in this article are reserved for people making between 30 and 50% of the area median income. That's AMI. Or between 24 or annual salaries between $24,000 and $40,000 a year. Poor folks. Okay, now that we've talked about some terminology, let's get back to the word affordable and how it's used in the media. So when most people hear the word affordable in the news, they think something that they can afford. But that's not what it means. The word affordable means that the housing is being subsidized by the government. Media has captured the language as far as that goes. When you read articles about housing and housing policy, there are some words that are omitted. You will never hear the words budget housing, or in other words, low-cost housing that naturally occurs in the market. You'll never hear of developers building low-cost housing that's intended to be rented below current market rates. We have budget options for all kinds of products, but not housing. If something is below market rate, the industry assumes that the government needs to be subsidizing the difference between the market rate and whatever people can actually afford. So the private market gets away with building at market rate levels and above. So if you're building at market rate levels and above, the overall cost of housing can't do anything but rise, which is what we see. So the private market gets away building market rate and above. And if it's above market rate, that's luxury. And they claim they're playing fair. That is not the case. Anyway, there's a little something for you about affordable housing so that when you hear it in the news, you get an idea of what it actually means and why they use the term the way they do. All right, back to the article. Sometimes being charged twice, and fees attached to payments were not explained clearly. They organized a tenant union and delivered a list of demands to the building managers in 2023. Yay for unions and organizing! But riddle me this. This is a federally subsidized development. Why are there no government oversights that they could appeal to instead of having to go directly to the courts? The lawsuit, filed last month, alleges that managers threatened to evict Jessica Owens Nikeen, the leader of the organizing effort for her advocacy. The complaint says that managers served her with a demand for compliance, a letter in September alleging that she had violated the lease by engaging in protected organizing activities, including door knocking and approaching other residents in common areas for surveys and statements. The demand for compliance was issued for the sole purpose of retaliating against Owens Nikeen for her organizing efforts in the community. The lawsuit reads, issuance of the demand caused Owens Nickerson to fear that she may be evicted and quelled her ability to speak with fellow tenants or bring appropriate good faith complaints for defendants. To get the rest of the details, check out the link in the description for the full article.
It looks like a job for me.